joined by his parents, Arsuf and Yagdeep, and his siblings Jay and Jundi. Our next senior was a transfer from Memphis who joined the Pilots last season. This year, he scored 14 points on the year with 4 goals and 6 assists, good for 4th in the West Coast Conference. He graduated this fall with a degree in integrative health and wellness. Ladies and gentlemen, from Vancouver, British Columbia, number 21, German Sanga. Joined by his teammates Jake Artiega and Nick Denley, this senior has played for the Pilots since the 2018 season. He's put together 4 goals and 10 assists in his career with the Pilots and has played solid defense in the midfield. A graduate this spring with a master's in higher education and student affairs. Ladies and gentlemen, from Denver, Colorado, number 16, Greg Tracy. Escorted by his friends, Lily and Carly, and his teammates, Maros Andreu and Julian Kansa, our final senior, transferred to Portland this season after a highly successful career with the Seton Hall Pirates. This season, he's second in the West Coast Conference in both goals and points, with 7 goals and 16 points respectively. He'll graduate this winter with a master's in operations and technology management. Ladies and gentlemen, from Järna, Sweden, number 9, C.J. Tippler. Ladies and gentlemen, one more big round of applause for Jake Artiega, George Boforis, Delence Pierre, Brandon Lyons, German Sanga, Greg Tracy, and C.J. Tippler.
Welcome to Merlo Field for the final home game of the regular season and the 53rd all-time meeting between Santa Clara and the Portland Pilots. I'm your broadcaster for tonight's action, Adam Sussman, as always, joined by Angela Harrison on analysis. And Portland have been halted by San Diego last week, but the opportunity to go undefeated in regular season play at home is still enough for these guys to get excited today.
And, you know, it's a great night to do it. It's senior night, last home game on the Bluff, and it's just going to be another epic battle between Portland and Santa Clara, I think.
Santa Clara having a relative down year, 4-4-5 overall, 1-1-3 in conference. But Portland, they lost 4-1 to San Diego last week. That was their biggest loss since 2019. They need to win the final 2 matches and have some help if they still want to win the WCC.
Yeah, and San Diego played last night. They got a win, so now Portland has to pick up, as you said, these last 2 games as wins and hope that San Francisco takes care of business against San Diego and hands them a loss loss or a tie to win the WCC title for Portland.
Not often do you see an all WCC, all region first team player primarily come off the bench, but that's the type of problem that Portland is looking at. Oladayo Thomas, number 9 from Lagos, Nigeria, a Gettysburg College transfer. He scores goals for fun, has 3 goals in his last 4 games, including 9 goals in the 2021 season.
Yeah, you know, he spent 2 years at Gettysburg College before transferring, and what a massive pickup this was for head coach Cam Rast and the Broncos. His first season with Santa Clara, he had 4 goals. He led the team in points, but last year, breakout year, led the conference in points and goals, second in assists, and for those efforts was named to the WCC first team and was a first team All-West region.
Sometimes we have trouble finding talking points for the opposition coaches. Not today. Cam Rast, you mentioned his name, Ange. 6-time WCC Coach of the Year, 12 10-win seasons. He's made the NCAA tournament 8 times, a Final Four to his name as well. He's as good as it gets on the West Coast.
He's been in this conference as a player and as a coach virtually his entire career since the 90s. He has seen some truly epic tilts between his Broncos and the Pilots. First as a player, now as a coach. And as you mentioned in the earlier, they're having a down year, but if there's anybody who knows how to get a team prepared for truly one of the great rivalries in the West Coast Conference, it's Cam Rast getting the Broncos ready to face Portland.
A player who has been truly epic this year is Brendan Cambridge. He has been maybe the best player in the WCC this year, leads the conference far and away with points on 22. Second place has just 16. Goal and assist against LMU and Gonzaga last week. He's hot. Well, he's been hot all season.
Yeah, and for Portland to get back into the WCC title race tonight, I think it's going to be Cambridge that has to start keying them. He, as you mentioned, scores loads of goals. Right now, he's tied for first in assists. Also, 8 goals, 6 assists. He's going to be the pivotal player for Portland to put the ball in the back of the net tonight.
There's going to be festivities with senior night, but Nick Carlin-Voigt has his eyes on the prize, a win tonight.
Well, and he'll have to do some lineup management. Portland without Nick Fernandez tonight, who got a straight red card against San Diego. But Carlin-Voigt is no stranger to mixing up this lineup, pulling in players off the bench, making them starters. So no doubt he's got the team prepped and knows exactly their roles for tonight.
Coming up next, a matchup we look forward to every single season. Santa Clara versus the University of Portland, this time at Merlot Field. Portland trying to get their second win in a row against Santa Clara. Stay tuned. All the action coming next. Welcome back to Merlot Field. On your screen right now, what happened moments ago, senior night festivities. A great bunch of guys that's being honored tonight, Ange.
And they've really carried this Portland program. A lot of them have seen some tremendous up and downs. They've, carried this team, led a lot of recruiting through the pandemic, and really stuck with this program, stuck it out, and are enjoying the fruits of their labor this season. A really great season for Portland. Much of it led by these young men out here.
Here's a lineup that's going to be facing those fearsome seniors tonight. A couple of names to watch out for. They're going to be lining up in a 4-4-2. In the back line, keep an eye on Alejandro Perez, the captain. He's been a regular starter for this team since way back in 2018. And of course, up top, Oladayo Thomas, 2021 first team All WCC and All Region. He's hot recently, 3 goals in his last 4. The Broncos going to be wearing an all gray uni, attacking from left to right, while Portland is going to line up in a traditional purple, going from right to left. For the University of Portland, starting lineup, a couple of changes in here, and we're going to see Jake Arteaga be pushed up into the midfield of a 4-2-3-1. It's a role he's familiar with. He played a majority of last year, but it is still a change.
Well, and we talked about, you know, the absence of Fernandez, not available at all tonight, serving the one-game suspension to the red card. So now we know that it is going to be Hernandez that drops back into the center back, and what is Carlin Boyd's going to do is push Arteaga up into the middle, play side by side with Yepa, and kind of dual number 6 roles with Nava playing in front of them. So that's been the configuration. That's the change that we're going to see tonight, and we'll see what the Pilots can make of it.
Yeah, I misspoke. It should be more of a 4-3-3 than a 4-2-3-1, but joining Arteaga in the midfield will be the second start of the season, second in a row for Oliver Yepa, and then of course Sebastian Nava, one of 4 Pilots who are tied for 3rd place in the WCC with 6 assists. Then of course Fernandez, Nava, Gurmain Singh, who's being honored tonight, and Brendan Cambridge, who leads the conference in points as of current. He's been great all season, but even better at home here at Merlo Field. A good crowd has shuffled in for the final home game of the season, as we're moments away from kickoff here at the Bluff, and just a fun game in store. Although Santa Clara is just 4-4-5 this season, if you're not going to win the WCC, a fun thing to always do is stop your rivals from doing so.
And, you know, it's happened between these two teams numerous times over the years where, you know, the one is having a down year, but they play usually somewhere around the last couple games of the year, and it is one playing spoiler for the other. So Portland, you know, if Portland does not win the WCC, it's going to be San Diego that gets the out-of-conference bid. Portland will be a likely candidate to get an at-large bid. They have a great ranking. They're 31 in the RPI, so really it would be great for Portland in the WCC in general to send more teams into the tournament.
We're underway here at Merlo Field as Hernandez sends it back to George Tassaris, one of the many seniors being honored tonight. The Cyprian keeper hands it off to Delence Pierre. Denley, who's the only other this season to have suffered a red card. Of course, no Nick Fernandez tonight. Thankfully, it isn't senior night because that would be a colossal bummer. But the listed sophomore Fernandez should likely be back in the starting lineup next week against Pacific. To give you some of the ramifications, and we'll go over this a few times during the broadcast, but because San Diego won yesterday against Pacific, they must lose to last place San Francisco next week, and Portland has to win tonight versus Santa Clara and Pacific next week. And of course, San Diego, unfortunately because of last week, owned the tiebreaker over the Portland Pilots. Ball being ping-ponged about. Senga on the back of Lopez Perez, can't win it, and then chipped out of play by Delence Pierre. Pierre retreats into the 18. Ball finally thrown back in from the stands. Maybe a cold one, but not quite as bad as it's been the last couple of days. If you don't get it ready, consider yourself lucky when you're in November. Thrown by Reddington, goes inside the box. Yepa lets it bounce once, perhaps dangerously, then has to banana kick it out of the way. Still inside the 18. Now gotten rid of authoritatively by Denley. Babalai. Arteaga pushing back into midfield. You're just joining us on KRCW. Welcome to Merlo Field. The University of Portland Pilots men's soccer team is on the attack right here as Cambridge hesitates once, gives it to Bonilla. And a volley shot trickles wide. Back to what we were saying, if you're joining us from the George Fox game, welcome. We're just in the 3rd minute of this game, so you've come at the right time. It's senior night here at Merlo Field. A great crowd has arrived in East Portland. Excuse me, North Portland, and I've made that mistake last year. I learned from those. But here in the 3rd minute, Portland is trying to claim the WCC crown. If they win here and next week, and San Diego lose, Portland, who's currently in 2nd place, will move to 6-1 on the year. But the Santa Clara Broncos, who won the conference title last year, are trying to stand in their way. Santa Clara was really one of the best teams in the country last season. This year they stand at 4-4-5. Last year they went 12-2-4, only losing 1 regular season game. That was a non-conference contest against a tough Georgetown squad. going into the tournament, of course, collecting the automatic bid from the West Coast Conference. They beat Akron in the first round. They lost to 9th overall seed Kentucky in the second, 2-0. Back to the action tonight. It's Oladayo Thomas. He's the man we're watching out for in Santa Clara colors. For those who are joining us, Santa Clara is the team all in gray on the ball right now, attacking from left to right. Portland, of course, in purple. Barajas gives it out right to Sandu, sophomore from Kirkland, Washington. The Santa Clara side, like Portland, has a good mix of upperclassmen and underclassmen. Last home game we did together, and it seemed like everyone in LMU was an upperclassman. I think all 11 of their starting lineup was upperclassmen, with 9 of the 11 being seniors or grad. But for Portland, they've been forced to make some changes in the midfield today. Oliver Yippa, who is primarily an impact sub, has been called into the midfield. He's a 19-year-old listed defender, but primarily a midfielder from Denmark. Fed up the line to Sanga. Overcooked for him. I think we'll touch on them individually through the 90-inch, but Jermaine Sanga has been a player that's been so fun to see grow this season. Last year, started out kind of slow when he first came from Memphis, where he earned a lot of accolades in the ACC. But so far this season, he is 4th in the conference for points. Started this season on an assist barrage. I remember in that 3-3 game against Indiana, he had all 3 assists in the contest. And goals have been piled on. Had one last home game against LMU. And in total on the season, 4 goals, 6 assists. In the new system of the 4-3-3, where he's allowed to play further up the field. That system, implemented by Nick Carlin-Voigt, has been great for him and, of course, others. Cambridge may not be getting honored today, but it's hard not to say his name on the opposite wing. Denley fed through to Babalai. And out comes Schaefer. He got hit in the noggin, and that play is going to be forced to stop when a player does get hit in the head. And that was goalkeeper Felix Schaefer. Though he took a knock there, that's the right play, Ange.
Really strong stuff from Schaefer coming off his line strong. Portland has done well feeding the ball up. Santa Clara right now, their rotations through their back and midfield, very fluid, very flexible, and Portland is doing a good job of catching them between their seams of rotation and finding these little areas for these through balls. But Schaefer does his job there. You see him come nice and strong off the line. Babalai chasing it down shoulder to shoulder, and Schaefer does well right there. And you just see
the right foot of Babalai catches him.
Yep, and it's Sanga who then is just trying to clean things up there, but the play's whistled dead.
Felix Schaefer, a junior keeper from Berlin, Germany, stands tall at 6'3". This is his first year as a starter for the Bay Area side. In his last 2 games, he's been really strong, Ange. Just 2 goals against, 12 saves, undefeated, 1 win in a draw. Even in a down year for Santa Clara, they still went through a patch this year where they were undefeated for a month and a 6-game streak, as Schaefer collects again right from the grasp of Babalai. As I was saying, they got a 6-game unbeaten streak this year. Not quite as good as the 12-match unbeaten streak they ended the 2021 regular season in. There's one man who's a proven winner and a proven man to turn a ship around. It is Cam Rast in his 21st season as head coach of Santa Clara. 194, 140, and 60. Most wins in Santa Clara history. And you said pregame, he's someone who has really spent his life on this conference, and you're not kidding. He was a player, an assistant coach, and now a head coach here.
Yeah, I mean, he went there, played there in the late 80s, early 90s, was playing professional for just a couple of years before he started his coaching career as an assistant coach there around 93, 94. 94, I think it was, spent 8 seasons as an assistant before getting, earning that head coaching job first season in 2002.
Won WCC Coach of the Year last year, as well as doing it in 15, 10, 06, 03. Made the 2006 Final Four, 12 10-win seasons. Made the NCAA tournament 8 times.
should note that Cam Rast has been assisted throughout this entire endeavor by probably one of the best goalkeeper coaches in the country, one of the most accomplished in Eric Yamamoto, who's well-deserved associate head coach title. But Yamamoto's been around the Santa Clara program and was the goalkeeper coach for both the men's and the women's team, and has just been such a tremendous asset. Also an alumni of the program, and now focused solely on the men's team with Rast.
Hernandez, who has stepped into center back today. There's a good chance that probably would have been Jalen Rodwell, but last home game, we unfortunately saw him hurt his shoulder. Pierre picks his eyes up. No press from the Broncos as he's trying to break the lines again. Double I and Cambridge, the closest two Pilots oncoming. Other side with a shot on goal so far, just a few aggressive plays by Schaefer off his line. The German keeper boots it high into the Portland sky. Full lights, of course, on. Clive's Army loud as ever for the final game of the regular season. Pierre. Nava closing down the ball, trying to get his first couple of touches of the game. It's been a composed start so far for both teams as Reddington sends it far. Thomas, as I see it trickle out of play, he's hollering back, saying, "Get a little bit closer to me." Get his back towards the net, and then had to go for a nice little sprint. Portland captured inside their own third. A few crisp passes to get out required. Arteaga, Senga, Pierre, Babalai, all capable of it. Goes off a few noggins, and back to Bronco possession. Barajas over to Sandu. Sandu sees the run long, decides not to do it. Goes back to his easier read on the near side. Thomas, this is where he wants it. Dangerous as ever. 4 goals this season, 13 goals in his last 2 years. Here's Bonilla, plays a beautiful ball up to Cambridge. The Canadian gets on his horse, breaks past another, sends in a low, dangerous cross, but a little bit too far behind Babalai, who's getting the start today. Babalai, who hadn't started the last 3 games. CJ Tibbling was given that honor instead. It makes sense, Tibbling second on this team in goals with 7. One of the highlights of this season is when he scored 4 in 1 game against Utah Tech. A 6-0 victory, which was the final game of non-conference play. If Nava's onside, this is dangerous. Give it over to Babalai, but that one behind him again. Flag stays down as well, Ange.
Well, and it's a great run and great team up there from Nava and Babalai. And you see what Nava was trying to do there. He just didn't have the angle to shoot that he wanted, and it was just going to be a much easier pass. But Babalai could not hold his run up any longer. And that was where Nava was looking for him, was just about a few yards behind him, which is where Nava ultimately ended up playing the ball.
Pierre looks to reset things. Yepa drops in between the defenders to pick it up, close down. Gets the ball on the other side of the chalk. And now Portland get running again. Cambridge has enough pace to get there, but this time the flag does raise.
And it was Perez who just kind of stepped up, held the line, and Cambridge, yeah, just about a yard or so offside when that ball was played through, but a great look, and you can see Portland already looking at this more free-flowing attack style, and you've seen the results of that have been just the goal tallies of Sanga, of Brandon Cambridge, of Babalai, of Tibbling. Like, everybody has gotten into the action, and Portland really can carry a lot of this momentum into this NCAA tournament if they can continue this and actually start to get some results from the offense they're putting together.
Passeris found the open grass to Cambridge, but he can't second that. Portland with a win over Gonzaga last Wednesday. Becomes the 4th time in 6 fall seasons that Portland has hit at least 10 wins under Nick Carlin-Voigt. While Santa Clara is trying to avoid their first losing season since 2018, and they went 5-10-2. It's also their most draws in the season since 2010 when they went 10-6-5. Bronco team that is as even-keeled as it gets as they're gearing up for a throw on the far side. They've scored 15 goals. They've given up 15 goals. They've scored 7 goals in first halves. Their opponents have scored 7 goals in first halves. Of course, that math works out to 8 in second halves as well. As Tassaris picks up the loose change and thought about a long throw, but instead hits it with the laces of his right foot and just a little bit under. Senga still fighting for it. See who his last off of a sliding challenge comes in. It doesn't even go out. Senga finally picks it up, and now Denley comes into aid. It just goes to the back line again. Santa Clara clear. Pierre. Entertaining opening 13 minutes. Not a lot of whistles at all. And the head official, John Wilkins. Arteaga. And can you talk a little bit about, playing the back line an entire season, and then this late in the year? Look, 90% of the season's finished, going back into a different position for Jake Arteaga.
Well, I mean, I honestly thought that it was going to be Hernandez that went into that holding mid-roll or the attacking mid-roll, where Fernandez won. We have seen him do it before. I didn't think that Carlin Voigt would pull Arteaga out of that back line because he's just been so good and so consistent back there. But, it's just seeing the game from a different area of the pitch, and you can see that Arteaga is already kind of dropping into that back line, being a little bit more defensive-minded. And so when you do that, you have to be really aware of the marks and the rotations of the attacking players coming through. That's the tendency, is that you're going to collapse too far into your back line and somebody's going to be left unmarked coming through the midfield.
Fortunately, the player filling in on the back line today, Sebastian Hernandez, who we were just talking about, is down right now. Hernandez got the start last week against San Diego. It's the last thing you want to see. Defender depth for this squad is eking away. We're not sure what Jalen Rodwell's status is. He's someone who could be playing at the center back role, but our point could be mute if you just put Arteaga back because of this injury.
Yeah, I think Carlin Voigt has some good options. Greg Tracy's got a number of other midfielders that he can bring in and drop Arteaga into that back line. I mean, I think that he's been working through this lineup for most of the season in terms of just finding different rotations for players, different opportunities for players to play in different positions. So I really think that, hopefully Hernandez is okay here. We see him getting worked on right now. But, if ultimately he has to be subbed out, I think Carlin Voigt's got some good options off the bench.
We've talked primarily defensively in the last 14 minutes of the game. But this is an offensive identity team. Portland are 7th in the nation in goal scoring at 2.53 and 16th best in the nation in goal differential at +21. It's a high-flying team, and it wasn't always this way. Last year, they scored just 29 goals, 1.5 per game. So to up that by a whole goal a game is nothing to scoff at. They're still on pace for their best record since 2018, but meanwhile, we're going to take a look at what may have caused this for Hernandez.
See Hernandez coming in there, coming against our player to watch, Thomas for Santa Clara, as he just turns the corner there.
They've overextended possibly.
Yeah, you see Hernandez running there with his arm and his elbow just held just a little bit oddly, and it just looks like as Thomas was holding him off, pulling him off, there potentially was just a misalignment of a joint in there. You see him holding his hand pretty gingerly right there in his arm.
Yeah, it was statuesque running with his right arm, just staying still. You don't realize how much you pump your arms when you run until you hurt one. Unfortunately for Hernandez, he does head out. We'll see what the substitution pattern looks like for Portland right now. And in comes a like-for-like replacement going in the center back, Michael Hatcher, a sophomore. This is the first time he's played in the first half this year, and she's usually playing cleanup minutes at games that more often than not are already settled. He's played 8 games this season, all as a late sub. Actually got a goal against Cal Poly this year, met by large celebrations. From Everett, Washington, played the Crossfire Academy. He's a four-year varsity player at Henry M. Jackson. This is the largest role he's played in the game so far in his University of Portland career.
It's a good time for him to come in, get some good minutes in this game, and really, I've watched this team train several times, and they train so hard against each other. I have no doubt that Hatcher, this Portland in practice as subs, there's going to be a tough team to face as any, and so I think Hatcher's definitely going to be ready to go, and this is going to be great for him if Portland is going to really want to make a run at the NCAA tournament and potentially go deep into that bracket. Then they're going to need to have depth off their bench, and players like Hatcher getting some quality minutes in a very meaningful time.
Yeah, by default, you're going to get a lot better if you're going against Cambridge, Tibbling, Sangun a lot every day in practice. Senga chases it down right now. The green kit of Schaefer sends it short. Header by Denley isn't picture perfect. Sanduke hands it to his captain, Perez. Excuse me, that was Barajas. I was thrown off by the black armband on his right arm. Should be looking for the neon green one instead. Thomas versus Pierre. Certainly a matchup to watch out for. Pierre, another one being honored on senior night tonight. He's been a rock of a center back since he's gotten to the university. Someone who certainly has high aspirations for his career. Here's Yepa. Trots outside of the center circle, finds Bonilla, bombarding up fullback. Has a goal and assist this year. They have been suspended for the first game of the season, but has played every one since. It's going to be a foul. Yepa flicks it back to the opposition. University of Portland women's side, who's having an incredible season in their own right. All right, up north in Washington, facing Gonzaga right now. They are down 1-0 in the 17th minute. And perhaps you can speak a little bit more to how their recent games have gone.
Not great. They dropped one to San Francisco in San Francisco. Always a tough place to play. It's a very short field, turf field, and Jim Milner's team always a tough team to play against.
Here's Cambridge trying to go up 1-0 early. Has Babalai with him. Cambridge slows down, waits for support, takes it onto his right foot, goes and cross. Denley is there, not dead yet. Sends it back inside, a few chop at it, and now out of play. University women's side, certainly a younger team. At the beginning of the season, it was awesome to see them ranked, but they have slowed down slightly since. But here's another look at what we just saw on the pitch.
And Denley tries to chop it across and doesn't get enough on it. As you see him, he tries to hit that ball off the outside of his boot. Maybe should have taken it with his other foot and pinged it across with a little bit more directness.
Pilots picked to finish first in the WCC. They have to act. Currently second in conference with 12 points at 4-1. Their one loss to the first place side, San Diego. Last year, Santa Clara won this great conference, went undefeated in doing so. Cambridge not able to skip by like he usually can. Cambridge is 18th in the nation for points, first in the conference. Has more points this season than he did in his freshman and sophomore years combined. Don't think it's a controversial saying to say he's been the best in the conference so far, at least in an attacking sense. So I can't say I've watched every defender in the conference for every game this season. I can't give him his flowers. Yepa gives up to Babalai, who shields off one, a nice ball roll, and then hits the deck. Don't think the Broncos were too fond of it. He fixes his white sock as the Texan Kevin Bonilla gets ready to resume play. Last season, Bonilla all-region third team for his exploits. Led the team in assists with 5. And at that time, it seemed like a lot, but this year, those are lesser numbers considering 4 players on this team have 6 assists. Good work by Lopez Perez to beat Denley. Thomas leaves it. Not sure if it was accidental or not. Pierre takes it right to the stomach or the chest area, and then the through ball, it's only as far to George Tassaris. Now Pierre was a warrior, being able to finish the play out, but now that it's in safe boots of Tassaris, he goes down. That's one that, just looking at it, will knock the wind out of you a little bit.
He should be okay here. The referee is holding him off. You see him just putting himself in a position to open his lungs up a little bit. He just definitely got the wind knocked out of him there and just needs to stop for a second and catch his breath. You see this ball just bounce out, and then Pierre gets himself in good position right there, hands behind his back, and then you see it just hits him right there in the numbers. Anybody you've had the wind knocked out of you know that spot, that it just gets you good, and no matter how much you flex your stomach or chest muscles preparing for it, it definitely clears your lungs of air.
On a brisk night, it will hurt that a little bit more as well. Here's Senga, tiptoeing the end line, about a yard from it, trying to find his way inside the 18. Excellent pace, but goes out for a corner. Or not. Would have been the 200th corner of Portland's season. Instead, it goes out of play. th minute of action. Portland have played their best chances, I would say, on the counterattack, as they're going to get another one here just outside of enemy's final third. Broncos not crisp passing like the weather as the clock resumes. Cambridge to Babalai. Yepa elevates the ball. Babalai puts it back on the deck to Arteaga. The Norwegian midfielder gives it over to Lance Pierre. To Denley. From McMinnville, Oregon, went to Concordia. Then transfer to Portland. Bonilla could have crossed it first time. Now it's to get out of a pickle. He gets grappled, and only as far as a Bronco player, and then he smacks out of the arms trying to get a throw in. Don't think a card is shown, but a stern talking to, if you will. Portland have the 9th most yellow cards in the country on 47. But to be fair, Ange, their opponents do have 46, so it's not like it's completely one-sided for the Pilots. Yeah,
not sure how that's not being flagged for a foul there right in front of the referee, but then we see Bonilla get up, and I think that's probably a tit for tat. Didn't call that one, probably not going to call Bonilla retaliating a bit, coming back the other way, but he does have an exchange with Josh Wilkins, the referee today.
Looking for the first goal of the night. Their 38 goals this season is the second highest total they've had since 2001. The highest total they've had through 15 games since 1999. It's a team of an offensive identity. Nick Carlin-Voigt has played an attractive brand of soccer this year, to say the least. It's a beautiful pass by Pierre, finds a nicer touch by Senga. There's tit for tat in the opening 15, 16 minutes or so, but Portland has controlled the possession since. Neither team really implementing strategic press yet, as Pierre flirted with doing the same pass up the left flank again. As for watching on Portland CW, thrilled to have you here at a nice night at Merlot Field. It's been a rainy couple of days in Portland. It's made for a nice bit of grass here at Merlot. You can see the breadth of the players on the field. Me and Ange and Booth are slightly spoiled, only needing a layer. Yepa to Arteaga, who peered up his 2 eyes to Denley, instead goes the harder route to Cambridge. The harder one isn't always better, as it's going to be an offside. Portland opened the season an 11-game unbeaten streak. That felt like the storyline for oh so long. Eventually that was halted in its tracks down in Corvallis. And the Beavers beat them. Still on pace for the best record since 2018. That year in the opening 13 matches, they went unbeaten, going 10-0-3. Portland looking for as well their 7th clean sheet of the season, have 6. Wilkins, doing his own right, showing some strength in shorts and a short sleeve kit. In the background, you can see Clive's Army. I'm quite the soccer fan in my own right, but don't think I'd be going shirtless. College kid slightly braver than I am. As Barajas lifts both hands, takes the set piece. It's a bullet inside. George Tassaris extends all of his height. Rolls it out to Senga. That one more controlled than many he does, Ange. Senga runs into the back. Well, really, a roadblock placed by James Reddington. And that's going to get him a yellow card. We've seen a lot of yellow cards at Murillo Field this year. That one, not saying it's undeserved, but it's slightly on the softer end because he didn't completely get in his way. Yeah, he kind of did.
No, that's a yellow card. You can't impede the run of the attacker like that. Doesn't matter. I mean, I'm kind of not a fan of the term soft cards because it either is or it isn't. Yeah. It's a foul or it's not. You can't go halfway, and you can't say, well, that is a bookable offense, and the referee, when you call a foul like that, has to issue a yellow card. There's no question about it.
He knew right away as well.
Yeah.
It's going to be the first yellow card of the game for the redshirt freshman from Manhattan Beach. A young player on the side, but he's made a big impact his first season with Santa Clara. 2nd yellow card of the year. Pierre. Portland usually, and the lack of Nick Fernandez may be a part of this, are really comfortable on the ball just outside of the penalty box. Today it's been controlled maybe a slightly further back, and you can kind of put that down as Santa Clara is playing a high line in the 4-4-2 they're defending in. Some of it, Portland just not as crisp around the box as they have been in previous games. Then again, we're only 25 minutes in. Here's Senga, opens up well with his right foot. Is that offsides or a foul, Ange?
I believe the AR1 is calling it out of bounds. Right there.
Good eyes. Full ball does have to cross over the white line. In that case, did by a few millimeters. Reddington, who's the one who had the yellow a few minutes prior to take the throw. Nava, Senga, Babalai coming to defend it. Here's Nava on the ball. He's had a quiet night so far. But one strike with his right foot can change things quickly. If there's anyone who has a shot from distance in them, it is Sebastian Nava. He's got 4 goals this year, looking for the 5th. For the game-winning goal 10 days ago on Wednesday against Gonzaga. He's up over 1,000 minutes now in the season for the 2nd year in a row. Here's Cambridge, good touch forward. Lets him room to run. It's scuffed initially, and it's still on the line. And now dealt with by Schaefer.
Babalai hits the ground hard there at the post, and we'll be curious to see this on replay, but it looks like that's a great step from Schaefer, no doubt. But right here, Babalai kind of gets, I think he just slips there. It looks like it's so hard. There's so many players in the way, but Barajas is there on the back of Babalai, so it's hard to say if he kind of got pulled down a bit or if he slips. I mean, it's definitely a night. The grass, if you're not wearing studs and you're wearing your molded cleats, you're gonna slip any kind of quick movement you make.
The two-pronged attack of Santa Clara of Jesse Anamu and Oladayu Thomas have not been able to call their names too much. Thomas a few more than Anamu. Anamu has 3 goals this year. The Ghanaian forward, transfer for Bellarmine College. 5'7", a fast forward, but Delance Pierre has swallowed him up thus far. And Hatcher, since he came in for Hernandez, when you don't say a defender's name, he's probably doing something right. Good positioning from him so far, and the possession his team has held is helping as well. Senga dancing. It's going to be a foul.
We'll just take another look. Great step there from Schaefer. Babalai comes there, tries to hold it on the line, and you see him just get shouldered there a bit by Barajas. And Wilkins, the referee, right there looking at the play, didn't see anything in it, so we'll have to trust his judgment, and obviously play continues.
Arteaga calibrates a good ball over to Nava, who's isolated for a moment but finds Bonilla on the right flank. Bonilla squares it back to Pierre. Picks his eyes up looking for a more audacious pass than Denley, but is relegated to doing so. Senga. A few nice touches as a hit into the box. Falls perfectly, deflects off one, and then cleared away. Yippa wins it back for Portland. Cambridge keeps it in, slips once, and then almost megs the player. No foul, linesman was in a great spot. And out of play, poor passing.
And as you see here, that deflection down. Sanga with a great ball into the area, and as it comes in, right into Nava, but great defending there from Santa Clara to clear the ball from danger. And they're doing everything they need to right now to stay organized, dropping 5 back in their line out of their 4-4-2. So in defending, they're going straight back into a 5-back, and it's been so hard for Portland to crack that, but that's where they're going to come from. It's going to come from the wings, looking to center the ball in there. And then I think they're probably going to have to get one more pass in the penalty area after that centering ball to really unbalance, because Santa Clara's doing a great job of getting defenders crossing the shooting path and making it pretty hard for Portland to get anything on frame.
Yippa lunged forward with his elbow. That's going to be a handball. While you were talking to Ange, in came Muslim Umar, who we both have enjoyed a lot watching him grow, maybe senior night. He's a freshman, deserved a playing. He got the consolation goal in a 4-1 loss against San Diego, his 3rd goal of the season. Also scored against Oregon State and Utah Tech. Actually started the last home game against LMU as well. Something a surprise addition. Someone's going to be getting a lot more starts as the seasons go on here at Merlot Field. 1/3 of the game has passed. Neither team with incredibly menacing chances. Portland have had the better of it. A few impressive blocks by the Broncos, keeping the game scoreless. Broncos go short with the corner, and then at the back post, skied high, still in play. Second chance coming in. George Tasseri's still on his line, and then cleared away by Hatcher. Cambridge, the lone pilot forward, but can he get the sphere? Almost. And now stayed in narrowly. Last off the 32 of Hatcher.
Great opportunity here from Santa Clara. Well won at the back post by Murphy, and you see him there making that other great effort at it. And you know, this is the kind of team that Santa Clara is. It doesn't matter their record. It doesn't matter, you know, where they're at in the conference standings or, you know, what their season prospects are. Against Portland, they're going to grind hard. They're going to make sure that they're sacrificing their body, getting everything in there. That's the scope of this rivalry that we're watching.
Perez sends it across. It's a lofted one, spends a lot of time in the air. Umar has some miscommunication. Nearly wins the ball back, and then shoved in the back. Ferocious Muslim Umar is a bit too aggressive as Reddington hits the deck. On the near side to the broadcast booth, most seats in the bleachers and the seats taken up. 25th ranked Portland Pilots looking for their 11th win of the season. Reddington sends in a good ball. Tasseris has to retreat and out of play for a goal kick.
Gets a great ball in, and Tassaris commits out a bit before having to retreat back, thinking that he can get it. That's the sign of a well-struck ball. Just a little bit of a tiny outswinger. Gets the goalkeeper to commit off of his line going into the back post before he realizes he's not going to get it, and he's got to drop in, but Santa Clara can't make anything of it.
Nava nearly triggers a through run to Cambridge, and Schaefer kind of just rolled it past him afterwards. We do have a player going off right now. That's going to be Hernandez. You see him with a knee on Penny over. We saw him hurt his right arm. It's unfortunate to see him go back to the locker room. Wishing him nothing but the best. Not sure if we're going to see him come back today, just in terms of going forward, a talented young defender for Portland. So Hatcher, the one who replaced him as he plays back to George Tassaris. CJ Tibbling, another attacker, getting ready to gear up to come in. Cambridge. Arteaga. Passing has been crisp by Portland, but the final ball has been evading them.
Well, there's not a lot of buildup. There's not a lot of playmaking in what they're doing. Right now, Portland is putting 4 players high on Santa Clara's back line of 4 or 5 people. So with Nava going up with the front 3, there's not a lot of midfield movement or playmaking. And right now, that's all they're really looking for, are these balls over the top into the wings to run onto and play in there. Not some of the deft movement through the midfield and the buildup that we've seen in games past.
Missing Fernandez, who's one of the best passers on this team, along with Sebastian Nava, has to hurt as well. Denley looking to join the attack out left. The pass nearly gets to him. It's a curious ball by Senga. Looks to be grappling all over the back of a Bronco attack. Thomas leaves it off, and this time their turn to go over the top. A couple of Pilot purple jerseys surround the ball. Now Cambridge loses out in a header to Perez. Perez again. Him and Cambridge have been battling all day long on the far side flank. Barajas. Nava's practically playing as a second striker right now, and in defense, it looks 4-4-2-ish, if you will.
In defense, it's kind of a 4-2-4, and that's what it is in attack. I mean, right now, it's either Nava or Senga that's dropping off, because Umar has, when he came in, moved out to the left side. So, as I said, just not a lot, Portland, not a lot of build-up, not looking to build up, really looking for some of these quick strikes over the top, or these runs from Umar or Senga, some of these faster players on the team, Cambridge, to do all of the work of the attack for them.
Some jeers from the crowd as Umar thought he was being tugged. Nick Carlin-Voigt did as well. Threw up his palms. Umar keeps it inbounds there. Senga really gets it over to Umar. He got chopped low. He's holding his right ankle. The foul was by Aaron Sandu. Sanders played the most minutes amongst underclassmen this year, but he catches the senior for Portland there. Clock does stop. One of the advantages of college soccer. Much harder to waste time when if you go down, the clock just stops. There is, of course, no stoppage time.
So now I think Sangha will carry through this injury, and he'll be all right.
Nick Denley, who started every game he's available for, stands over the ball. 2 assists and a goal this season, both coming earlier in the campaign. Assist against Oregon State and Utah Tech, and a great goal against University of Central Arkansas, which was maybe the first goal this season, but it might be my favorite goal of the year. Right to Schaefer. Who hasn't been able to connect with his punts so well today, Ange.
Well, both keepers favoring more of a side volley approach, and it just hasn't been there.
With a yellow card for Delence Pierre. Got a yellow card last game as well. Got the ball initially, but the follow through definitely caught the man. Pierre way up the pitch from his center back role.
He was up there from that set piece, and as this ball went back, he came in there, just comes lunging in there, and this is a classic example of it. It doesn't matter if you get the ball. If you foul the player in the act of getting the ball, it's still going to be a foul, and in a situation like that, coming through the player, both feet, wrapping around their legs is going to be a yellow card.
Last year, Delance Pierre was the only underclassman to start on senior night. Of course, starting again here today as they're honoring him amongst many others. Denley hesitates once, twice, and then a predictable yet dangerous ball up to Senga. Right edge. They have been favoring that long ball for sure.
And Sandu shoulders up with Senga, and Senga's an incredibly quick player, but Aaron Sandu has done a great job playing him shoulder to shoulder and making sure that he can't get clear of him. And once he does that, it was no problem for Elder to slide over and clear that ball out.
In comes a different looking striker than Senga. It's going to be CJ Tibbling, who's more of a physical build-up presence for University of Portland. The number 9 for the Pirates has scored 7 goals this year, 2 assists. He's someone that will give a whole new look of problems, I should say, to the Bronco back line. Denley gets deflected and almost a sliding ball in. I think it may have last been off of Pierre.
Denley gets the favor of the deflection there, and Schaefer comes out against Pierre. There's the deflection right there. Pierre just tries to slide in front. Schaefer just impedes the path of that ball, does so well to keep things right and safe back there, and ends up with the goal kick.
Well, we are scoreless in the opening 45 so far. Portland scores most of their 38 strikes in second halves. 22 of the 38 come them. Defensively, they're excellent in second halves, giving up just 4 goals in second period so far this season, as they're peering for their 11th win of the year, which would push them to 5-1 in conference. Tibbling, last-ditch effort with his toe, gets it over to Umar, who's able to draw the foul. He's quickly helped up by Barajas. Santa Clara don't have a huge bench today, and a lot of the Californians on their team wearing heavy coats in 40-degree weather here in Portland, Oregon. I'm sure they'll have some warm-up activity during half. Portland has utilized subs, some of necessity due to a Hernandez injury, some to change the attacking look, but other than that, the back line and midfield to stay the same, other than Hattrick coming in for Hernandez. The front line is an ever-changing piece. Cambridge, the only one who's played the full 45 up there so far. Should say the full 38, but likely will play the remainder of this half. Arteaga, first time pass isn't as crisp as it needed to be. Nava trying to trap down that ball. Him and Tibbling, a 2-prong attack. Denley, shorter one in that battle, loses out to Lopez Perez. Thomas, Oladayu Thomas, for his 4th in 5. And Namu almost got it back to his teammate Thomas. Clive's Army jumping up and down near the ball. Sandu pumps his arms. Last dish pass works out. Yepa defending well. They pitch it out wide. Reddington was isolated for a second. The cross isn't great. Portland still trapped in their own end. The passing, they're a couple away from being on the break. Umar. No call by Wilkins, the head official. Tibbling would have been the recipient of the pass if Umar didn't fall. Murphy was lunging for it. Umar has another try. It was a safer route, recycles play to Denley, who finds Hatcher and then Yepa. We see Delance Pierre venturing forward a lot here, Ange, and then Yepa covers for him defensively.
There's been a lot of rotations like that for Portland You've seen that with Bonilla has done the same thing between him and Yippa. It's just, again, because right now Portland, if you're looking at the front line, there's 4 players across, and that's all they're looking to do right now is just get the ball forward to their fast players over the top and try to break something or create something from that. So lots of room for the back line to players in the back line to get themselves forward and support the play.
Portland looking for goals in abundance after their largest loss since 2019 last week. It was a 4-1 defeat to San Diego. San Diego certainly turned the page from last year when they were 2-15 with just 1 conference win. Also into the game, looks like Bubo Fofana. Tibbling, closing down smartly, forces a difficult kick and touch, and then Umar loses out on the 50-50. At that game in San Diego, Nick Fernandez earned a red in the 70th minute. The loss 4-1 was doomed from the start, as San Diego scored in the 18th, 19th, and 24th minute, being down 3-0 within 30 minutes. Not an advantageous position to be in, to say the least. And for San Diego, certainly a turnaround from last year when Portland beat them 5-1 here at Merlo Field. In that game, they did get a red. Shot from distance certainly troubles George Tosseries. Doesn't force a dive out of him, so goes a few feet wide of the near side post.
Portland right now really open on the counter, or open to being scored upon on the counter. Santa Clara don't know that they're going to be able to get that final pass through, but certainly the opportunities are there because of the numbers Portland's trying to commit forward to score this goal, and then just the recovery efforts trying to get back behind the ball, trying to get themselves organized has been a bit difficult for them in the last probably 10 or so minutes.
There's been moments this year, Andrew, in the final 3-4 minutes of halves, Portland has looked susceptible defensively, and especially on the counter. Go back to that Seton Hall match where they dominated the first half, were up 1-0, but then the last second goal just totally changes the momentum going into halftime. So Portland, they can live with the 0-0 right now with how they've played. Last thing you want is to give one up to Santa Clara on a break. Fofana gave it to Arteaga. Denley squares it back to him. Pierre to Hatcher, a duo that hasn't played too much together. Up to Tibbling, who's going to be off sides, doesn't get the ball either. Santa Clara is 24-20-8 all-time versus Portland. Last year's meeting in the Bay was a 3-1 Bronco win. Goals by Oladayo Thomas, Damani Osai, who was injured, and Eduardo Lopez. The PK goal, consolation one, was for Sebastian Nava. Up to Umar. Great chop, finds Nava at the top of the box. Almost. Denley. Yippa's ball immediately cut out with some ferocity.
It's a ball I would have liked to see go out to Hatcher, that first ball from Arteaga to Yippa. Yippa was kind of right in there and stepped in front and got that. I would love to see that go out to Hatcher and then go to Bonilla and try something just a bit more dynamic. But Yippa brings it back, and we're going pretty direct again.
Just over a minute to go. And a beautiful ball to Fofana. Doesn't corral it immediately. Has to wait for Bonilla in support. Bonilla, the fullback, supplementing the attack, tries the give and go. It is not given a foul. Instead, going the other way, Ange.
I think sometimes Portland right now gets in kind of one mind of how to do things, and right there, I think if Fofana keeps his feet and focuses on cleaning things up a bit cleaner right there, and you see Fofana gives a little nudge, he gets a little nudge, and if he can stay up on his feet, he's going to win that ball pretty cleanly. But I think Portland looking for a free kick there. He gets a nudge and says, yeah, why not? I'm going to go down. And the referee right now, that's game recognition as a player. You have to know that they're not calling those kinds of fouls right now. They're not calling those kinds of fouls tonight. So you've got to do whatever you can to stay on your feet and play through it.
George Tasseris collects a grass cutter as there's under 10 seconds to go. And that should do it for a scoreless opening half. George Tasseris not forced to make any saves. Felix Schaefer credited with one in the first half. Not awfully eventful. Some balls that were a second or two away from coming off. But that's going to do it for the first half, Ange. Not terribly eventful.
Yeah, I think probably for me, this is the flattest we've seen Portland play all season, and it could be for personnel reasons, any one of a number of different reasons, but Portland not really looking to build up through the middle, those long balls coming over the top. Santa Clara is ready for them. They're pushing up. They've been called offside a few times, and so Portland will have to look to see what they can do to reconfigure and bring a little bit more of a dynamic attack to the second half.
Portland trying to find their 11th win of the season on senior night, their ultimate game of the regular season here at Merlot Field. Trying to avoid 2 consecutive losses. Still a ton of action coming from Merlot Field. Stay tuned on Portland CW.
I love the fact that higher education can be transformative. It can change someone's trajectory of their life. So it's my hope that the University of Portland, we are the transformative Catholic university in the West Coast. I was born and raised in the great state of New Jersey. I'm the youngest person in my family. I have some amazing parents who have sacrificed a lot to provide an education for me and my brother. You know, we grew up knowing you're going to get your education, you're going to go to church, and anything is possible as you go forward in your life. My name is Rob Kelly, and I am the president of the University of Portland.
We were simply thrilled when Dr. Kelly accepted the opportunity to come to the University of Portland. We spent hours, weeks, months discerning this important decision, and he was exactly what this university needs moving forward.
You guys, nice to
see you.
I think you've already seen that on campus already. Dr. Kelly's everywhere. He's ubiquitous. He's energetic. I think he's a tremendous role model. His experience in higher education at this university and other universities will serve him so very well. There's no one more prepared to lead this university into its next great chapter here on the Bluff.
This is my first day with lots of students on campus in a physical format. The students are back, and this is the beginning of it. It's like Christmas morning.
Clearly a person that was able to build connections and relationships with people. His prior experiences, it was very intentional that Rob was preparing himself to one day hopefully have the opportunity to lead a Catholic university, and I'm grateful that he chose us as much as we chose him.
I've been so blessed to know him for over 24 years, and one of the very first conversations we had, we found out we both loved higher ed, and he talked about, I want to be a college president one day. And it really struck me because my father was a college president, and so I saw a lot of similarities in somebody that I, greatly admire and love more than anything. He is like the cheerleader for our family.
My children, Alex and Addison, first they ground me completely. They give all of this work that I'm doing and everything meaning.
To be such a collaborator, communicator, and somebody that really deeply believes in justice, it seemed like those were the things that he just naturally is.
I have been extremely blessed to have different people in my life. People like Sister Frances, she was my 4th grade school teacher. I remember those little lessons that she taught us, and I bring that with me into the work that I do now.
Welcome to all of you.
My message to students would be that they're loved. We want to walk with them and accompany them as they go off and do amazing things in the world. And we're always going to be there. It's about community, and we're going to help them to get connected as we go forward in life. Welcome home, and go Pilots.
Dr. Kelly, on behalf of the entire Board of Regents, we are thrilled that you are finally here on the Bluff.
Dr. Kelly and his family, so grateful that you've become a part of the University of Portland. Can't wait to see all the fantastic things that we can accomplish.
Welcome, Dr. Kelly, to Villa Maria Hall. Welcome, Dr. Kelly, to the University of Portland.
We're so proud of you and wish you the best of luck at University of Portland.
Congrats, Dad, on becoming president. I'm really proud of you.
Every day, remember where your strength lies. God and heaven are below our feet and above our heads, and so always look up and remember that you are loved and you can do this. Congratulations.
Welcome back to Merlot Field on senior night as Portland is struggling with the familiar foe in Santa Clara. The Pilots, the 25th ranked team in the country, are scoreless at half. They may have had the majority of the possession, but Santa Clara is taking it to them, at least defensively, and the long balls are not coming off.
Well, and I talked about it in the open with Cam Rast. I mean, the Santa Clara is having a down year for them, but he knows exactly how to prepare his team and get them up for a game, and they're doing so well with their defending right now. Very organized, very competent. They're kind of baiting Portland into some of these offside calls that they're seeing, and you know, even Portland right now kind of sometimes getting nudged off the ball and allowing that to happen, hoping to get a foul. But Portland has had some interesting looks throughout the half, but nothing as dangerous as we've seen them be throughout the season. And there's the first one in the second minute. Nava off the board, gets into it. That right there was probably about the best chance for Santa Clara in my memory from that first half. And then Portland had a couple more chances, but they all looked a lot like this. Just Portland trying to get the ball out to the wing, go wide or long over the top, and then look to try to cut in or cross from the corner there. And you know, Felix Schaefer's done very well, very confident, competent, coming in, trying to win things, trying to claim things. Here's another look for Santa Clara, another just corner crossing opportunity for them that Portland was able to handle and deal with. And yeah, I think for Portland right now, this is where they're going to be the most susceptible, is on these counters and on these areas of opportunity for Santa Clara to capitalize from a set piece.
Let's take a look at the first half stats. Portland and Santa Clara both with 3 shots, just the 1 shot on goal for the Pilots. Corners, Portland has none, frankly, and that's something they've been successful off this season, so look to get more of those. Fouls, each team has a yellow card. In total, 7 fouls for Portland, 0 for Santa Clara.
And, you know, one stat that's not up here is offside. Portland's been offside 4 times in this half. Santa Clara has not been offside at all, and I think that really is an indication of how direct Portland is being tonight. And we can talk about maybe it's the absence of Nick Fernandez that's not allowing them to play make through the middle, but really right now they're not having a lot of idea generation in through that top probably 10 to 15 yards off the top of the penalty area, and they're not playing through. So right now what they're trying to do is get the ball to the wings, get the cross in, and look for that first time finish, or once they're on the wings, look to dribble in and get that shot or a closer cross.
Look for a talismanic figure, Brendan Cambridge, to get involved in the second half as well. That's going to do it for our halftime break here. When we come back, all the action from Merlot Field. Portland may have had more possession, but only one stat matters in soccer. The goals, 0-0 so far, but a lot of action here to come on Portland CW. Stay tuned. rather uneventful second half is the perfect appetizer to what should be a crazy second 45. Portland has scored the majority of their goals this season in second halves. 22 of their 38 have come in the second 45, Ange. I saw Nick Carlin-Voigt with his starters out there a little bit earlier than usual, perhaps giving them some instructions, maybe a few tactical changes going into the second half.
Well, I think just also overall trying to give them, you know, some time to get their muscles warm and get them warmed up back from halftime. But, you know, Portland has been very confident with goals this season, coming from a number of different players through different avenues, whether it's been set pieces or run of play goals. And so I think, you know, the confidence is on their side to run through this second half and pick up a few. But, you know, right now, Portland coming off that 4-1 loss to San Diego last week, you know, pride's a bit hurt. Ego's a bit wounded. So, you know, they're probably right now just missing a few connections all over the field. Just some little doubts creeping in. So if they can push past those and make sure that they're coming out strong in this second half, then they've got a good shot at putting a few in the back of the net.
Most of the regular starting line is back out there. Senga along with Babalai and Cambridge. Nava's going to be in that advanced midfield role. He played more of a forward in the opening half. This time we'll see if it's different. We're going to get a better look at some of the players on the near side this half, including talismanic figure Oladayu Thomas, who leads this team with goals and points. It's a preseason All-WCC pick. And a player that largely for most of his career at Santa Clara has come off the bench, received all-regional, all-WCC honors, starting just one game last year, but led the conference in points. Here he is on the ball right now. Got to surrender the ball to the behest of two Portland Pilots in his vicinity. Back again, tries the dummy move, but Bonilla is too smart for that. Hits the deck from behind as Jesse Amadou catches him. Amadou from Accra, Ghana, but went to Niles North in Skokie, Illinois for high school. Hatcher calls Nava to come near. And as you reset the lines for both teams, is it the starters back out there for each? I can't tell on the far side, but it looks like Muslim Umar might still be out there for Portland.
No, I think it is the starters back mostly. No, I think you're right. Umar is over there.
So it's
I'd seen Sangha and Cambridge out there, and I thought I saw Babalai. And Babalai is there, but it looks like he's dropped in for Yepa.
That's a awfully attacking, at least personnel-wise, lineup for Portland right now. So you have four traditional attackers as well as Nava, so really five. Here is Umar. The cross gets Portland their first corner kick of the game.
Well, it was a bit puzzling with Portland having all of the attacking and offensive tools that they do, that Yepa and Arteaga were playing dual sixes in the midfield, and Portland only had one attacking midfielder. So it looks like Nick Carlin-Voigt's reconfigured that and put Nava, left Nava in that attacking mid role, but then dropped Babalai in to play next to him. So they're going two attacking mids now and one holding.
Umar takes it. Two purple jerseys around the ground just outside the 6-yard box. Bonilla looking to send it back in instead, but bards through the two. Can't quite get it through. It's going to be a throw-in. Perez takes his time to retreat the ball. '48th minute. George Tasseris still yet to make a save for the University of Portland. Santa Clara, one of many Bay Area schools in the WCC. One of the longer road trips they're going to have to take. The other, of course, being Gonzaga. Hatcher. Portland coming off their second loss of the season, looking to respond the way they did the first time they lost. They lost to Oregon State, came back and crushed LMU. Lose to San Diego 4-1. Not quite the same response 49 minutes in. They did beat Gonzaga 10 days ago on October 26th. It was their 7th straight win against Gonzaga. Last time they lost was October of 2015. Portland outshot the Zags 16-8 in that one. After conceding the first goal, they scored 23 seconds later to make it 1-1. And then 2 more goals were tacked on in the second half by Cambridge and Nava. Use those 2 to get on the score sheet right now. Bonilla, quick throw into Hatcher, who sprays it to the middle. Pierre shifts it wide at Denley, who, with all these forwards on the pitch, Denley and Bonilla haven't gotten quite as advanced as they have in previous outings. A line-breaking ball hits the outside of the boot of Hatcher. Broke one line, but not the second. Nava, audacious with the ball at his feet, finds Babalai, who gets it over to Umar, nearly so. Denley wrapped around his neck. Cambridge, this is where he's most dangerous, takes a first-time shot, low, and we got it, there it is! Cambridge struggled in the first 45, but 1 shot on target, 1 goal. Portland leads 1-0, less than 5 minutes into the second half.
And already the change in formation makes a huge difference. Denley comes through and gets the ball. Nava plays it out wide, but not as wide as we've seen Cambridge. I don't think Cambridge really struggled in the first half. I think that Portland didn't give balls like this. They weren't playing through the top of the penalty area where they're so good. Nava is so good playing on top of the penalty area, and he was in the front line with Cambridge. They were both running onto things all first half, and now Portland puts themselves in good position with Babalai in there. He wins that first ball. Denley comes through, plays it through to Nava. Short ball out to Cambridge, and Cambridge, we've seen him score there several times this season and picks up his 9th goal.
9th goal this season, Ange. That is some feat for him. Oladayo Thomas led the conference with 9 last year. He has been the best offensive player in this conference, bar none. Here Portland goes again. Cambridge was dragged down there. Nava forced to go left. Can it be another one just moments later? Portland, they slow things down. Now Santa Clara gets the ball. And at points this year, going back to that Cambridge goal, the scouting report often is he'll open that up with his left foot, try to curl it. That's one where he catches Schaefer off guard, just drills it with his right foot.
And Portland, you know, the alterations again at halftime brings them out, puts them in a much better position, a much more comfortable scoring position. You know, Cambridge was so wide and high in the first half that he was offside a couple times. So that's where he was getting the ball. But right here,
Cambridge again chips it through. It trickles in. The man of the moment. Give him double-digit goals. Brendan Cambridge, 2-0. Just over 5 minutes in the second half.
Cambridge being able to be inside a bit more, cut in, that's where he's great. Give him the option and give him the space to go outside if he needs it. But what a ball this is in here. Cambridge beats him, nothing Schaefer can do. Schaefer tries to come off his line. Don't think he realized that Cambridge is as fast as he is. Thought he was gonna get there, and Cambridge, nothing to do there for him, but just a nice easy ball right off the boot.
Man, we were talking about him, man of the moment, of course. Brendan Cambridge. I'll toot my own horn a little bit. I said look out for him in the second 45. And they've brought him more inward to your right, Ange, and it has paid dividends and some. Now 10 goals on the season for the Vancouver Whitecaps Academy product. The sophomore stealing the show on senior night. I'm sure none of the 7 who are being honored tonight will mind. Cambridge squeaks it forward, almost finds Nava. Kept in play by Elder. Santa Clara still have not made a sub yet this game. Umar has a streaking Babalai to his left. That's the option he nearly finds, but the two don't connect.
And it should be noted that was Babalai who sent that ball through for Cambridge, dropping deep and Portland again playing with 2 attacking mids now, 1 holding. That was the reverse of the first half, and bringing Babalai in from the forward line into the midfield trio has now given Portland so many more options in terms of what they can do. Nava now dropping a little bit deeper alongside Babalai is really causing Santa Clara some real problems because of what they can do in playmaking in that buildup.
52nd minute, this game has a whole new look to it. Cam Rass in his 21st season in charge. Have a tall hill to climb. Benji Michel, the last player to score double digits in the season for University of Portland back in 2018. Cambridge has met him at the plate. Cross coming in. Valence Pierre goes down. Cambridge, I thought, was really good last year, and he had 1 goal, a game-winning assist, and 1 more assist in the 5-1 win. So he had a goal and 2 assists last year. I thought he was one of the better attackers on this team.
We're looking right now at probably the WCC Player of the Year and the Attacking Player of the Year. He's been outstanding this year. He leads the conference right now, and right now there hasn't been anybody better or more important for their team than him, in my opinion.
Smart kid, is a biology major. Best player in the WCC this season. And here comes Umar trying to grab his 4th of the year. Cuts in well to his right foot, shifted out to Cambridge. Almost got the hat trick, but Bonilla sends it high. Cambridge, I called his summer action when he was playing for PDX FC, a semi-pro club. He was dang good.
And again, I would just go back to the beginning of that replay there. Babalai dropping deep. It's such a wonderful turn, and he shields the ball. He screens. He's able to screen his defender just by using his body and opening the door. Just completely isolates his defender, turns, gives himself some room to run onto, and keys that entire play. So Jacob Babalai right now, Cambridge is the man of the moment with 2 goals, but it's Babalai right now who is really driving this Portland attack.
Coming in today, he was 18th in the nation in points. A lot of other people above him on that list where have played more games, frankly, or have played lesser opposition. But Cambridge maybe sneaking towards the top 10 with the brace so far today. Still 35 plus to go. Cambridge has treated those watching on Portland CW to a fun start of the second half. Santa Clara, how will they respond? Portland now have 40 goals this season. One of the highlights of the 2021 season is the ability to host a home regional. They beat rival Seattle University in the first round. They did fall to Washington, who was eventually the tournament runner-up in the second. Can't forecast who gets what in the tournament, but Portland, 11 wins thus far with the ability to get 12 in the ultimate game of the season at Pacific down south. Could give them a chance to host here. That would be a game that, if you can't be at Merlot Field in person, is a game you have to catch. The game has slightly slowed after the Cambridge onslaught. He's from Surrey, British Columbia, just outside of Vancouver. Part of the Whitecaps Academy. And he's doing this goal-scoring production. Don't get me wrong, he loves to drift inside. But he isn't a central striker like CJ Tibbling or Jacob Babalai is. He's doing most of his work from outright. Comes back, can support Bonilla. How about the connection those two young, talented players have struck up on the right side of the pitch? Portland avenging a 4-1 loss to San Diego last week. Well, if the current scoreline stands, Portland would still be in second in the WCC. Fed up the line to Cambridge. One-on-one defending against him is dangerous. Has all the confidence in the world to why not. Goes towards the end line, a low cross. Peters just outside the 6-yard box. Bonilla there to clean up the scraps. Just past Nava. Umar, heavy touch, shoots it low, blocked off the line. Umar still on his backside, but not dead yet. Here comes Portland, resetting the troops. Give it over to Cambridge outright. Bonilla finds his way back onside. Another low cross comes in outside the foot clearance. Santa Clara, the first place finishers in the WCC last year, will obviously have to give up their crown. They're just waiting to see to who. San Diego or Portland. The Pilots are making a good case to take that right now. Good chance. Jacob Babalai is playing more of a central attacking midfielder, rolling your right inch. Him dropping back has linked up a lot.
And that's what, you know, at halftime I talked about Portland needing to be more dynamic, playing through the middle part of the field, building up through that probably 10 to 15 yards on top of the penalty area. And that's really where both goals have come from. Cambridge being able to create some space for himself starting outside, then come in the middle, and some great build-up play via Babalai, via Nava, that has allowed Portland to thrive.
Hatcher. Pierre. And Cambridge, who has plenty of WCC Player of the Week honors to his name, giving a great candidacy to win another. Portland a few weeks ago swept the WCC Player of the Week awards. Cambridge winning the offensive, George Tassaris winning the defensive. Portland has had 6 different players win WCC Player of the Week as they almost feed another through there. Muslim Umar. Nava. Good pass. Finds Babalai. Cleared. Blocked. Combination of all of it. Denley to Umar. Finds some open real estate on the far flank and can't venture inside the 18. Adamu working on Bonilla. Can't get it through the 5-hole. Let's take a look back right there. Cambridge, of course, fighting for that hat trick.
Felix Schaefer, again, strong off his line. He's been so good with those decisions tonight. He just miscued on one of them. That's the second Cambridge goal, but more or less inside the penalty area. He's been very good at coming out and disrupting the play for his team.
Santa Clara naturally forced to be a little bit more open and susceptible to a counterattack with being down 2-0. Babalai, advantage being played. Not the pass Cambridge or Nava were hoping, kind of split the difference between the two. Santa Clara's turn in the final third. That's short-lived. Santa Clara have only won 1 of their last 6 games. It's been a tough end to the season. Their 1 win against last place San Francisco, a 3-1 victory on the road. Not too far of a travel for them. Last week on October 29th, they drew with LMU 1-1, a team that Portland was able to dispatch. Bonilla nearly, maybe it does find through. Shot coming, possibly a third, deflected and just wide. Trickles out for a corner. There's Jermaine Sanga. He wants to get in on the party. It's going to be a yellow card for the advantage that was played.
And that's, again, great work from Aaron Sandu coming over to defend on Sanga. He gets almost beat on the touch, but we have seen him just do so well in shoulder. Sanga, pretty much him and Sanga has been a great matchup to watch all night. And does everything he can, make sure that Senga cannot get a clean look on goal, and that deflection out. Schaefer doesn't end up actually getting a piece of it, but it's still the deflection off Sandu that Portland earns the corner for.
In comes tall forward Joshua DeBora for Santa Clara. He was second on the team in goals last season with 5. He had 5 goals in 5 games during league play last year as a WCC menace. Corner comes in, wow. That was Hatcher who towered up Senga. Umar, laid on his toes, gets the cross right back into his feet, and an excellent sliding challenge. Nick Carlin-Voigt, expressive on the near sideline, didn't love that it wasn't a foul. Portland retreat back well. A flick over the top, but the pace of Hatcher uses his long legs well. George Tassaris being closed down. The Cyprian keeper goes long. Cambridge was there, playing as a striker right now at least. Off a corner, it is difficult to reset your lines at times. Comes the captain Alejandro Perez. Nava and the striker Babalite coming to help out. Hatcher, an easy one to cut out. Throwing goes the opposition team's way.
Substitution for Santa Clara.
Another substitution coming in. Adem Hamdawa, a Moroccan midfielder, previously was at Drury University, has started 5 games this year, a goal and an assist. This is his first year at Santa Clara. He's only played 2 of the last 4 after starting a majority of the games the opening of the season. Here he is right now. Plays a good ball over to Murphy. This is better from Santa Clara as they find their way inside the box. Hatcher and Denley have to collide and finally get a red. And not for a corner, but instead a throw in. Substitutes looking strong a few seconds into their cameos. Senga thought about the pass to Cambridge, instead keeps possession for his team. Umar, who was subbed in at about the 35-minute mark in the first half, and has played ever since. With no Nick Fernandez, Nick Carlin-Voigt, head coach for the Portland Pilots, has done a few things differently, including putting a lot of attackers, and that was almost another reason why Portland are sniffing the third.
Well, I mean, through the first 15 minutes of this half, Portland already has double the shots they did in the first half. And again, it's just that simple formation change, a different tactic than pushing 4 players high into the forward line and trying to play something long and break them down with speed. You have to break a team as organized as Santa Clara is down with your technical ability and playing through them rather than over them.
4th corner of the game coming for the Pilots. Everyone bunched up except for Cambridge, who's inside the 6 by Schaefer. Hatcher, Pierre, Senga, Bonilla, Umar kind of hanging out just outside the box, and now they sprint in as the ball comes in low. A set piece play, Bonilla, cross, probably didn't get enough air under it. In comes one of the many men that are being honored on senior night. Excuse me, that was Oliver Yippa. I got his blonde hair confused with Greg Tracy. He's going to be replacing Senga. So tactician Angela Harrison is going to let us know what the formation looks like now, because that is a midfielder for a forward, of course.
Well, yeah, I mean, Babalai's going to go up top. Sanga comes out, so Babalai back into that 9 role of that being that central striker. So Yepa now back in what we saw pretty much for the starting lineup of the game, with Portland reverting back to 2 holding and 1 attacking.
Yippa's first pass is a safe one over to Hatcher, who goes forward to Babalai. Plays a lovely ball over to Umar. Great first touch. Takes it to his left, perhaps too heavy, and now out of play. It was a perfect Babalai pass. Umar maybe should have shot a little bit earlier.
What a nice curling ball from Jacob Babalai. Gets it in there, and again, Santa Clara so well organized. Reddington closes Umar down, even though that Babalai ball, initial entry pass, just skates by him. You see him do so well with his body positioning. There's not a lot of places for Umar to go there but end line, and ultimately plays it out of bounds.
Santa Clara just 1 win in conference, a draw and 3 losses. In a struggle WCC campaign after winning it last year, not losing a game. Should say congrats to a former Portland Pilot, Steve Cherundolo, who won MLS Cup with LAFC today in a thrilling match that went to PKs. First-year head coach at LAFC. Back to Schaefer. There's a save percentage of .717 coming into the game. That slightly bests his opposition keeper, George Tassaris, who's at .707. Those numbers may swing in the favor of the Portland keeper after tonight. By no means has Schaefer played a poor game. Arteaga showing what he learned at center back this year. There was a sliding challenge in. Successful one at that. Santa Clara chucked it back in play quickly. Able to retain possession after a quick clearance. Bonilla, calm touch. Plays it up to the long stride of Babalai. Schaefer opens up for the pass. Good communication between him and Sandu. Pierre skies it. Babalai, that one's not fun to hit the turf. Slightly
Dial just
table-topped.
Yep, Dial just gets underneath him, going for that, undercuts him as he comes down. Going up for that ball, so when you're going up for those challenges, you got to go up together, because if you don't leave your feet at the same time as the other player and you stay on the ground, then that's easy target for a referee to call a foul.
Portland were tied 3rd in the WCC last year. I guess with tiebreakers they were actually 4th. Made it to the second round in the NCAA tournament, beating Seattle U. I always love seeing who draws who in regionals. Get matchups that you wouldn't see in conference play, of course. They ended the season number 29 in the RPI, number 25 in the top drawer soccer poll. Interestingly enough, they are number 25 in the coaches poll right now, and in the RPI they are 30th. Santa Clara, who have been playing better than this, I would say, in the season, but the RPI has not been kind to them, placing them way down at 179th, second worst in the WCC, only bested, I should say worsted, by Gonzaga. Beautiful pass by Arteaga. It's one that it's only a handful of players on the pitch can actually make a volley switching the field of play. Back to him. Nava breaks the lines. Cambridge is offsides. We'll give him a pass this time. With the win, Portland will move to 15 points in conference, one lesser than San Diego on 16. 5-1 compared to San Diego's 5-0-1. Bonilla had time, could have taken a touch, but his eyes were up the whole time on the ball. Into the grasps. Spoke too soon. Into the feet and laces of George Tassaris, and then picks it up with his palms. Launched over to Bonilla. Just over 20 minutes to go for Portland. Been slightly happier to slow things down. There have been times where the final 10 minutes, 10, 15 minutes of games, situations get tricky for Portland. Look at the Seton Hall match. Look at that one match on Monday against West Virginia. That one comes to mind. But having a 2-0 lead, although people say it can be one of the worst leads in soccer, I'd rather have it than a 1-0.
It's called the most dangerous lead to have in soccer, just because you get that momentum going against you if you concede one and the team can know that they're in striking reach. That extra momentum, you having the kind of the lack of confidence from going down or from conceding, and then having to kind of manage the intensity and the excitement of the other team knowing that they're in striking distance. Very often you'll see those 2-1 leads go to a 2-2 tie with goals within probably 3 to 5 minutes of each other.
Left off to Bonilla, inside back to Nava, takes a touch this time, pokes it through again, cleared inside the 6. Santa Clara, if they've done one thing well, Ange, it's been clearing those near shots.
They get in front of the ball so well, and right there, Nava, you just feel for him right there. He had that wide open angle for it as he comes and dribbles through, and ultimately it's Sandu again that is right in front of Schaefer. Schaefer had it covered, but I'm sure Schaefer probably would have liked that ball in his hands, but as a goalkeeper, you don't complain. That your team is doing their job, fighting for you in that regard.
Like-for-like substitution as Babalai exits. In comes CJ Tibbling. Cambridge feeds it right in front. Umar all day. He shoots it, trickles. Looks like it may have been off an arm. It is. Penalty coming for Portland. Chance to get a third. Portland has not missed from the spot today. The question is, Ange, is it going to Cambridge? Is it going to a senior?
It's going to Cambridge. Umar, that ball just out of his grasp, and you see him there come through and look for that angle. And it looks like it's Reddington's arm that it goes off of, and it's Murphy that's going to earn the yellow card for Santa Clara for dissent on that. But absolutely, it's going to be Cambridge for a hat trick.
Cambridge has done so much this season. A hat trick is not one of them. Looking for the 11th goal of the season. Schaefer, a couple of yards away from him, is going to have a word on the spot. Cambridge looks stone cold with his hands on his hips. Confident stance. Why wouldn't you have it?
Schaefer's got range. He's a big, tall guy. He's got good rangy arms, so Cambridge is going to have to be spot on with his placement, but a little smile there before he starts.
Here comes Cambridge. The WCC's leading scorer has another. The hat trick hero. This game was scoreless at half. Brendan Cambridge 3, Santa Clara 0.
Well, you have to give a ton of credit to Cambridge's teammates. I mean, Umar creates that pretty much from nothing, and Cambridge, every reason to be so confident going into this. He had a little smile before he started up that absolutely buries it. No mistake here. Schaefer goes the wrong way on his step, but don't think even if he went the right way, he would have gotten that. But again, a lot of credit to Muslim Umar. That ball going behind him that he had to reach, stretch for in order to keep him keep alive for Portland in the penalty area, and then having the presence of mind to take a second touch to get himself and his body back under control. And then that final shot where, you've got a ton of bodies in front of you. If it's not going in goal, you're getting a deflection or it's going off somebody's arm in that instance where you can potentially earn a penalty for your team, and that's what Umar did.
Portland nearly had a 3-on-3 break. Instead, Wilkins had official calls a foul. 9th, 10th, and 11th goals of the season for Cambridge. One more and he would get a CJ Tibbling, which is 4 goals in a game. It's an example, Ange, where I think we dissected George Tosseris's throws off open play a few times in the LMU match. The match is 0-0. He might be launching for a counter there, trying to go quick. The circumstance where you're up 3-0 with under 20 to go. Tries to hold for possession a little bit more. Hatcher does hit off his wrist. Oladayo Thomas, who is our away player to watch. A few moments on the ball in the first half, but since Portland has kept him hush. Reddington on the ball. Him and Murphy, the 2 Broncos on yellow cards. George Tosseris elects with the punch this time. He's not in his line. Shot from distance. Good save there. Not sure if it was Yippa or the keeper.
Going out like that, I think it was Yippa.
Norwegian does a good job on the line. Still not in a dangerous way. It is trickling and rattling all over the place. Many bodies calling for a handball, and they're running straight towards the referee, and that's going to earn him a yellow. At least the card is out, Ange.
Substitution, Santa Clara.
And great clearance there from Yippa, gets it out right here. Umar just can't get it up from there. I'd probably like to see Umar just clear it up to the halfway line and let his team clear their lines rather than try to dribble out of that. And yep, it looks like it was Deborah who earns the yellow card for dissent there.
So behind the scenes, Blake Gillingham, who's on your screen right now, number 24, the backup keeper for Santa Clara, comes into the match. He's played 2 full 90s, has a goals against average of 1. So he's given up 2 goals against in 2 games, obviously. 7 saves, good for a 778 save percentage. Sample size may not be huge, but the numbers are good. 74th, a baseball-type pass over to Nava, who skips through the midfield. Denley. Crowd's been given a good show here. Denley lets that one see it into touch.
Substitution for the Pilots. Number 17, Jacob McDaniel.
Jacob McDaniel coming into the game. He's played just over half an hour total this season. Played against Cal Poly, Utah Tech, and LMU. Got an assist for a Hatcher goal against Cal Poly. He's going to replace Bonilla at right back. Wouldn't be surprised if Nick Krohn-Voigt throws some other substitutions into the works as well, up 3-0 with 15 minutes to go. Of course, keeping the 7th clean sheet of the season is the priority right now. Quick corner by Santa Clara. Dua put a 1-2 with his fellow substitute Deborah. Cambridge tripped up. Giving back to Deborah, top of the box, smart pass, finds some space, shot high. And gets lodged in between a few bleachers.
Santa Clara really now starting to push numbers forward, just looking for any kind of goal, any kind of momentum in their attack. They've moved a player out of their back line. They're solidly 3 in the back. Hamdu is playing kind of a hybrid left back, left mid. You see him there just off screen of this hug. Great effort from Cambridge tonight.
Quite the roar, literally. And then a round of applause for the man of the match, Brendan Cambridge. I'd say unless someone's scoring elsewhere in the conference for tonight, good chance he's getting WCC Player of the Week. 6 different pilots have won that award: Cambridge, Sanga, Tassaris, Pierre, Kevin Bonilla, and CJ Tibbling. Nava has the fast legs of Fofana, streaking up the right side. And to McDaniel, his first touch. If you missed any of Cambridge's 3 goals, once the final horn sounds at Merlot Field and the applause go off, we'll take a look at them on the highlights post-game, so be sure to stay tuned after the game goes final. Say, all of them were clinical. Nice to see a smile on his face as he captured the 3rd. I think the first was really his best finish. The second was him pouncing on a chance. And the 3rd, of course, you saw moments ago from the penalty spot. Hatcher did sort of climb over the back of Thomas there. tale of two halves, and the link-up play this half has been otherworldly compared to the first. I think if you just saw a raw total passes chart as well, not sure we have access to that sort of data here at the collegiate level, but I'd be willing to bet it's about double of that of what the first half was.
Well, and you know, again, just kind of hammering on the build-up play for Portland. You know, they have a ton of assists this season across so many different players.
A lot of bodies going forward. Yipa chooses the right pass in the end. Here's Umar, and he gets tripped up. That was a 4-on-2 break-in. You're kind of just making a great point out of nowhere. Portland's going the other way.
Just looking right now down the field where Umar and a Santa Clara player kind of got tangled up. Santa Clara player down right now, which I think what will stop the clock for here.
It's James Reddington.
Reddington been so good tonight defensively, and right there, that was no different from what we've seen from him. Just doing whatever he can to get back, get his body between the attacker, between the ball and his goal.
It seemed like Yipa sort of made the wrong pass because he was a little bit behind Umar, but it was one of the better touches of the night to propel himself forward on a ball that was not within the momentum of his stride.
It was the wrong pass, but it was saved by Umar. Again, just you've seen that from him a few times, but here just plays it right in behind him there, and Umar has to just wait. And Umar, if you're defending him, that he's the wrong person to try to wait there. And you see that huge chunk. That's probably what we're looking at for Reddington right now, is just that sliding effort from him. Huge chunk of turf coming out of the grass. Man, the Villa Drum Squad is ready to break those sideboards. I think they're actually trying to. But I think that's what Reddington's coming out for. He's probably got a bit of a cramp, something kind of seized up in his leg there, as we saw that big chunk of grass coming out of the turf there that I mentioned. Murillo Field groundskeeper Kevin White will probably be lingering nearby to try to repair that as soon as he possibly can.
Coming in is Chase Weiner, replacing Reddington. Weiner, a freshman from Fresno, California. He's playing his 9th game of the season, has 1 goal. His first game in the previous 4, though. 70th minute, Portland looking to see this game out, but still going forward on the attack. Julian Conce, who's got fresh legs. Number 33 was sprinting. The transfer from UMBC. The German trying to look for his first points of the season. Excuse me, had 1 assist against Oregon State, looking for his first goal of the season. Good to see him get some time on the pitch as he was honored on senior night pregame. Santa Clara get out of their own final third. Hatcher, excuse me, not Hatcher. It's gonna be Jacob McDaniel, a local product from Hillsboro, Oregon. West Side Timbers. And in comes a starter, Eduardo Lopez Perez, a senior, who was kindly, I should say, honored pregame. All the Santa Clara seniors wore. Lopez Perez from San Jose, California. Fofana having some fun after the whistle. Dial. They are having fun in Clive's Army. It's the place to be if you're a student at the University of Portland. I unfortunately never was, and you were lucky enough.
Most of the students you see over there are likely from the Villa dorm. That's the Villa Drum Squad. A few Carottans over there as well. But the Villa Drum Squad are the folks with the drums and no shirt and the kilts.
Nava finds Fofana. Those who endured a chilly night, but an average November night in Portland. Given a great second half after a frustrating first, and there's the 6th offside of the game for Portland. There's one thing you want to pick on, I guess it's that, but I'd rather have your forwards be overly ambitious than too cautious. So will pay off at times. Cambridge showed so. Build-up play destroyed by Yippa. As under 10 to go in the match. The 25th ranked Portland Pilots certainly won't drop out after a performance like this. Always eager to see what the polls look like on Monday. Fed inside. George Tasseris has only had to make 1 save today, while Schaefer made 3. Gillingham, the backup keeper for Santa Clara, in right now. Long ball across. George Tasseris making a good save there, his best of the game. He loves running out of that 18. Looks at both flanks. The opportunity is not open, or you want to milk off some more time. That's where he does a little bit more conservatively, as Yippa and Denley link up. And cannoned up the wing to Fofana. He is for sure onside. Goes inside the box, has 2 with him, is going to take it himself. Left-footed shot, aiming for the near post. Going to be a difficult finish on your weaker foot. Fofana looking for his first goal since 2021. Had 2 goals and assists last year. As Babele replaces the man who replaced him, Tivling and Babele. One more time, why not?
Tivling will get a round of applause and accolades from the bench on senior night. Just a wonderful cap to his career here on the Bluff.
Another senior getting ready to come in, Jermaine Senga. Didn't get it on the assisting fun like many today. Still played well. Talk about so much his assist ability and his creative play inside the final third. Also, of his 4 goals, 3 of them are game winners. When he does score, it's at the right time. He was credited with the game winner against LMU. Low shot, and barely stays inside the 18-yard box.
That's Thomas making the effort for Santa Clara. Has been pretty much their biggest bright spot tonight when he has been in and around the ball. He's a handful to deal with. He's been so difficult, but Portland, Delence Pierre has drawn that assignment for most of the night and has done just a great job of stifling him. Very much how Sandu on the other end has really kind of maintained Sanga's presence. Pierre has done that against Thomas tonight.
Coates' time wasn't terribly long, but I think he may try to get all the seniors on the pitch at the same time because they're still standing there. Tasseris deals with pressure well. McDaniel fed up well. And Fofana, the bright spot of the move, with a move and a good pass to Nava. Gets it back on the return. Such a good touch forward. Chops it across. Still loose. Still loose. And at the back post, Portland looking for a 4th. It's inside. It's trickling. It's still not there. That was a tough one to call as the ball was all over the place.
Fofana does so much work in this play, and he's ultimately the one at the end of it. Right there, cuts it back, but Babele just can't make anything with it. Sanga tries the same, but just has been the case all night in so many different circumstances. Santa Clara throws numbers, bodies, anything they can behind the ball, and there's Fofana right there. Coming in hard, Sandu was ready for it, but definitely was the one who started and finished off that play.
Looking back at it, Babele actually had a better look in front of net than I initially thought. He made contact with it into the lower part of Gillingham. Deborah puts it in the path of Dial. Thomas out to Lopez Perez. Yippa sees the ball hauled into the grill of Deborah. This time dribbles past Fofana with the taller players out on the pitch at 6'4". Penn State transfer. The dummy beats Denley. And the cross, I think it may have last been off the boot of Denley. It is indeed a corner kick coming. Never mind. I saw the flag on the far side. So out goes Denley. Kunsa's going to take his spot. Babelay was out there for short. Nope, Denley's going to stay out. We'll see who's coming out. So Babelay played a fun, what was that, Ange? 2.5, 3 minutes?
Something close to that. Sanga, something similar to that.
Has college soccer always been kind of get as many substitutions as you want?
No. I mean, there used to be limited. There was no re-entry in a half, so this back and forth, and now Portland's got a player down. Looks like it's Delance Pierre getting an assist from Anamu, while Portland's athletic trainer makes his way out there.
Gonna want Pierre in the final stretch of the season. There is one more regular season game left against Pacific next week. Wouldn't be surprised if he is replaced. Senga has been trotting between the halfway line, the bench, the halfway line, the bench. Not sure if he's gonna come in or not. I do know Julian Kunze is on the pitch. And Pierre walking completely on his own volition coming to the bench as there's 4.5 minutes left to go in the game. The 25th ranked Portland Pilots are second in the WCC, only to a surprise San Diego squad, which was picked to finish 7th in conference, but have been undefeated.
Just have to break in and correct. Julian Kunze actually is on the field. He's not on the bench.
No, that's it. There's one thing I do know is that Julian Kunze is on the pitch.
Oh, I thought you said on the bench.
I initially had him replaced by Denley, but I think he's going to be playing that Pierre role who just came out. So it's a mismatch of players, but it's going to make sense for the final 4.5 minutes as Yeppa takes a heavy touch, almost dangerous, but keeps his cool. There's Nava. So it looks like it's going to be Hatcher and Kunze as the two center backs, and it's a bit foreign overall for the German. He's usually a left back, but this time he's going to be playing center. Here's Fofana. He's been a bright spot since coming in. A couple of nice step overs, and it's in! Fofana has been incredible this game. He hasn't played many minutes this season, but he is absolutely stormed by everyone, including George Tassaris, the fans, the backup keeper, the coaches. What a play by Fofana. A few step overs, and that one may not be a hat trick, but maybe the nicest goal of the night.
And just a superb ball through here to Fofana, who does so well. He's played where Cambridge has, and he hits this one with such pace that Gillingham gets his hands up, but Gillingham just a step behind that post, so that deflection, if he's not holding on to it, going right into the back of the net.
Another flare set off, another flag being run on the far side, and Fofana, that is his first goal in about a year. Incredible props to him, staying on the grind.
I think the Portland bench probably caught a yellow card there for the celebrations around Fofana. Everybody running onto the pitch for him.
Maybe they want to stay top 10 of the country in yellow cards. They're veering just outside of it. Here's Tibbling, who wants to get on the fun. He still has the ball, almost played it through to Senga. Fofana, this is his 3rd season with Portland, but he's listed as a sophomore because his first year was, of course, the shortened COVID season. Here's Nava, who drifts out wide. Yippo was running amongst the back line. Gives it over to Fofana. McDaniel. Hatcher. George Tassaris is bumped into. all good. And there's a yellow card. That's going to be a double yellow as Deborah has an awfully short night. It was a sub. Remember, he got that first yellow card soon after coming on for dissent when he went right into the ref's face. And for Deborah, look, he's still got another season left, don't get me wrong, but that takes him out of the final game of the season for Santa Clara. Not something that he'll love to end his season on. He'll serve it for the final game and then be back for next year.
And we'll watch what happens here as Tassaris goes to play, and yep, DeBoer just runs into him. Definitely avoidable in that regard, and right now DeBoer does have to leave the pitch. We have a few people around him. He's getting some words from Rast, head coach Cam Rast. Not the way that Cam Rast wanted his night to end, not the way that definitely saw this going for his team, but that's just about how the game's gone for Santa Clara. And as far as the second yellow goes, it is warranted in that situation. And we've seen that a couple times. We saw Denley do something similar where he was on a yellow, probably forgot he was on a yellow, and then did another bookable offense and got sent off.
And as someone who has coached a lot of soccer, what is that conversation like between Rast and Deborah?
What were you thinking? What was going through your head there?
A lot of verbal disappointment.
But I mean, if that happens 30 minutes ago, it's definitely going to have a little bit more sting to that conversation. But 3 minutes left in the game, it's hey, probably should have left that one alone. I know you're frustrated and annoyed. But probably should have left that one alone.
Yeah, when there's 2 minutes, 3 minutes left, you're doing more of a disservice for yourself next game than necessarily a disservice to your team in the current.
Well, you don't need to, in Cam Rast isn't the kind of coach, you're not going to go at a player, they know they messed up. They know that they made a mistake in that regard, so there's no need to belabor the point and go at them for it. It's just, hey, what are you going to do differently next time?
Now back-to-back home games for the Portland Pilots in which they put up 4. Against LMU, they won 4-0 as well with a crowd just over 1,000. They're doing it again today. This is the 4th time this season the Pilots have put up 4+ goals. 5-0 win over Cal Poly in early September, a 6-0 win in late September over Utah Tech, 4-0 the aforementioned result against Loyola Marymount, and now 4-0 again against Santa Clara. A team that had their way with Portland last year, so this one's going to feel extra good for the Pilots tonight. McDaniel takes the shove and loses the ball. Under 1 to go. Senior George Tassaris will see out his final regular season home game as a Pilot in style, hoping that the 45 more seconds he can see no balls pierce the net, at least his own. Broncos go short, all still in the box, hovering around. Tassaris stays on his line, stays in play. It's a battle between Conce out top. Over to Thomas. Veers inside. Trying to careen past Conce. And the curling effort finds its way on target. And what a great way to end the game for the senior keeper, George Tassaris. A clean sheet and a save in the final 10 seconds. Portland wins the final home game of the season, 4-0 in front of a standing audience at Merlot Field. And we're going to keep it here as the boards break on the far side. What were your thoughts on the game?
The second half obviously was much better, much more Portland style. The first half it was so kind of anti what we've seen from Portland, which was kind of lump it up and let somebody do it on their own. And in the second half, They brought the team into it, the build-up play. We saw on every goal, even the penalties, sublime passing and opportunities that led and created to these great chances. The 3 for Cambridge, and then the 1 at the end for Fofana, where, you know, again, the teammates set the table and make it extremely easy then for the goal scorers to finish it off.
4 goals. Here's the first one. Cambridge got it started. 4 goals in the second half, I should say, and the first 3 came all from the same man.
And again, just a superb pass from Nava, sets up Cambridge, makes it extremely easy for him to take a nice first touch. He's saying, yeah, guys, I got this. We don't worry about that. And then again, another great pass there for Cambridge to run onto. Felix Schaefer misreads it from Babalai, and easy there for Cambridge just to loop it up over into the goal there. And then here's Cambridge's, we're going to see Cambridge's hat trick right here from Umar, where Umar reaches back. He keeps this play alive, prevents it from going to the Santa Clara player, earns the penalty right here, sets the table for Cambridge to just absolutely leave no doubt as to who the best goal scorer in the conference is this year. It is that young man, Brandon Cambridge. And then Arteaga, what a sublime ball into Fofana. Fofana does what he does, which is a nice little shimmy shake, and then hammers it, just killing him. Set behind his post. That deflection was going to go in, not off his line more.
Yeah, 3 goals. Schaefer gave up the 1 for Gillingham against Fofana. Largely a frustrating first half for Portland, but a 4-goal onslaught in the second 45 gets them the result they wanted. They're going to need some luck next weekend, as San Diego needs to drop points against San Francisco, but Portland will close the season in the Bay Area against Pacific. An excellent showing from all, especially Brendan Cambridge. Look out for him when it comes to the WCC Awards. All the seniors played a part. George Tosseriz collected his 7th clean sheet of the season. But I'm Adam Sussman for Angela Harrison. Thanks so much for joining us on a great night in Portland, Oregon. Hope you enjoyed the show on Portland CW. Big thanks to our whole crew as well. We'll talk to you if Portland gets a home game in the regional. Have a great night, everyone.